Hi everybody, today I'll be showing you how to make my roasted pumpkin soup recipe. Let's get started. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees. We'll start by cutting apart 1.2 kilos of pumpkin. We could also use butternut squash in this recipe. Now scoop out all the guts and seeds and clean the pumpkin. The reason we roast the pumpkin in the recipe is because it deepens the flavor so much more. Now that your pumpkins are cleaned, cut them into equal size wedges. This makes it easier for roasting later on. Now we'll add some aromatic flavors to this soup. Grab 2 yellow onions about the size of your hand and chop it into quarters. We'll be chopping the onion into quarters to keep them large so that when we roast them, they won't burn. Onions will make your soup richer and more savory. Let's put them aside for now. Now let's grab 1 yellow potato. I like to add potato to the soup because it thickens the soup without adding any starch. I didn't have to peel this potato, but depending on the potato you use, you might have to peel it. Put the potato aside. Now let's grab our baking tray. Alright, onto the baking pan. What we'll do is arrange all the pumpkin that we cut from earlier. Doesn't the orange on the pumpkin look absolutely beautiful? Look at all that vitamin C. Now we'll put on that 1 cut potato from before. Then we'll put on those 2 quartered onions from before. Lastly, we'll add 3 cloves of garlic. Make sure you do not peel these cloves of garlic because they'll burn in the oven when you're roasting them. Before we roast these vegetables in the oven, we'll drizzle it with about 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Then season your vegetable with a large pinch of salt. Now massage your olive oil and salt into the vegetables so that it's distributed equally. Make sure you don't skip the salt on this part because it helps caramelize your vegetables in the oven. It's roasting time! Roast your vegetable at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 40 minutes. The pumpkin should be soft if you poke a fork through. Once it's done, just let it cool to room temperature. Once the vegetables are cooled, you can peel up the pumpkin skin just like this. Find that the pumpkin skin comes off very easily. Grab those roasted garlic and squeeze them right out. Much easier than peeling them. We'll be blending our soup in 2 batches today. Now add about half of the roasted vegetables to the blender. Never fill your blender more than halfway. Add about 1.5 cup of chicken broth for the first batch. Now take out the plastic part out of your lid of the blender, put a tea towel over the lid, and start blending. If you don't do this, your soup will be everywhere. Repeat this exact process twice. Once you're done blending both batches, you can pour your soup into the pot. You can see me pouring both batches into the pot here. Let's reheat and season the soup. Turn your stove to medium heat. Taste your soup to see if it has enough salt. I had to add a big pinch of salt to my soup. I also added a half teaspoon of dried thyme. Add about 1/2 cup of heavy cream to your pumpkin soup and then turn off the heat immediately. Your soup is ready to serve. This recipe will serve about 8 people. Now let me show you how to serve your soup extra fancy. Pour a touch of cream on top, then sprinkle some parsley on top. You can also add Parmesan for some extra flavor. Serve it with a piece of bread or some garlic bread for something extra cheeky. Enjoy! I hope you try out this recipe for you and your family. Perfect for the cool winter nights.